All right, welcome to the Green Fix section that we call Our World. And in West Pokot County, a quiet farming revolution is booming, or rather blooming, in response to hunger, malnutrition, and environmental degradation. Local farmers are actually doing something absolutely amazing. They're embracing agroecology, a sustainable, people-led approach to farming. As Faith Wangari reports, the new county policy is driving this transformation, restoring lands and empowering communities to grow more naturally.
In the heart of West Pokot, a farming revolution is blooming, quietly but powerfully. Farmers here are turning away from chemicals and drought-stricken traditions, embracing agroecology to feed their families, restore the land, and fight malnutrition. It's a shift rooted in the earth and in hope. A shift made possible by a new agroecology policy launched by the county, one that champions indigenous knowledge, health soils, and family-led innovation. Agnes Chebet, a mother and a farmer from Cheparerai, smiles as she stands in her vibrant field of sweet potatoes, 12 varieties strong. She uses only compost, green manure, and farmyard waste, avoiding synthetic fertilizers that she says threatens health and life.
Mimi mwenyewe kama mkulima niko na sweet potatoes karibu eka 2, na hiyo sweet potatoes niko na 12 different types of sweet potatoes, na last year nilifuna nikapata 1.2 million, nilipata 200 bags, na kila bag, kila gunia niliuza 90 bags, niliuza 5,500. Natumia mbegu yangu ya asili kupanda shamba, na niko na kitchen garden, na natumia mbolea yangu ya nyumbani kama farmer manure, compost manure, na tena pia imetusaidia sana. Hatuwezi tunahusia wenzetu vitu kama mboga, nyanya, matunda yenye haina kemikali. So nimefaidika sana kama mkulima, na vitu yenye tumetumia kupandia mimea yetu iko na soko zaidi kushinda yenye wanatumia kemikali.
Philip Kepelmar, chair of the Siyoi Milk Cooperative, says his dairy farm is flourishing thanks to eco-friendly practices. His cooperative now makes fresh milk, sour milk, and yogurt. The county's new policy, crafted with Greenpeace Africa and Biba Kenya, is designed to put farmers first, restoring land, boosting food systems, and building resilience in a changing climate.
Tunataka tushukuru sana county government kwa kufanya hiyo mambo ya organic ili wakulima waweze kuelimika na wajue jinsi ya kutumia vyakula. So kama mwenyekiti wa Siyoi Cooperative, mambo ya maziwa, na pia tumeweza kuwa na mashine ya kutengeneza value addition. Number 1, tunatengeneza mala, na tuko na fresh milk ambaye ni pasteurized, na pia tunafanya mambo ya yogurt.
County Agriculture CEC Wilfred Longronyang calls it a blueprint for survival and prosperity.
We as a government, we have put in place alternatives so that our farmers can get enough money to run their families, like coffee, mangoes, avocado, citrus fruits, even macadamia.
Greenpeace Elizabeth Opolo calls agroecology a return to wisdom, a path to health and dignity. From beekeeping to maize farming, from sweet potatoes to value-added milk, the impact is real and it's growing.
Ecology is farming with nature, is where we are saying we are producing our food, but at the same time taking care of our environment and also looking at the well-being of our communities. So when we are farming through agroecology, we are making sure that as we farm, we don't use toxic chemicals in our farms. As we are farming with agroecology, we are making sure that we are diversifying our farming methods. So unapata kwa shamba, kama ni shamba, instead of kuweka tu mahindi peke yake, unaweza weka mahindi, unaweza weka unaweza fanya beekeeping, unaweza weka vegetables, so it creates a lot of opportunities for the farmer herself. So unapata while you farm and get that money to go and support your family, you can also be able to have nutritious food for your family. So that's why we are saying agroecology, because it's the only way that you can be able to address different crises. When you talk about land degradation, when you talk about climate resilience, and now we are seeing extreme weather events. One season it's drought, the next season it's rain. So how do we make sure that our communities are resilient? So basically, agroecology is what our forefathers used to do. They used to farm in harmony with the environment. And that is something that went out the window the moment the Green Revolution came on board. But now it's clear. The way that we are farming is not working. It's too expensive, it's not healthy, and it's also not sustainable for our communities. And that's why we are saying now it's the time for us to shift and go the agroecological way.
And as more young people turn to the land, local officials like Assistant County Commissioner Emily Ogola says it could be a turning point for West Pokot, a chance to combat unemployment, insecurity, and rural exodus. In West Pokot, agroecology isn't just a policy. It is a movement. One farm, one family, one future at a time. Faith Wangari, Green Fix.
All right, the urban sprawl and poor waste management are fragmenting natural habitats and clogging drainage systems in major towns. In Naivasha's Kasarani estate, years of silt accumulation from the Malewa and Karati rivers have exposed residents to environmental and health risks. Willie Dennis Njiru reports on community cleanup efforts and efforts to restore ecological balance.
When it rains, it pours. The rivers flow and the cities and towns' drainages fill to the brim, with the receiving sides as lakes soaring immensely. With the surge in urban migrations, it brings with it environmental threats to human habitats. Malewa East Ward in Nakuru County, with a population of over 25,000 people, a 670 square kilometers vastness, borders Nyandarua County to the north, has the two main tributary rivers to Lake Naivasha through the ward, with much interference with siltation from flash floods and rivers. With a 28 million shillings ward fund, locals say it is not enough for the drainage dislodging.
Ukiangalia nyuma yangu ni uchafu ambao inaonekana kweli kabisa umekaa sana kwa ile mitaro. Tumekuwa na challenges because wakati wao vijana wa huku hawangeweza kutoa ule uchafu. Manake ule uchafu umechanganyikana na maji. Alafu kuna ule udongo. So ni kama uji unabeba. So ilibidi tutafute tinga ili iweze kurudi kwa tipa. Alafu tipa ikijaa inakuja inamwaga katika maeneo hapa. Hii kazi haiwezi isha kwa budget moja. Kama tumeweza kugonga half of the entire Kasarani, the next half tutakuja Yosha in the next budget.
Though population is outgrowing urban spaces and adequacy for standard services on landfills, wastewater and refuse, existing segregated lands have faced grabbing, straining further the urban ecology.
There was a land that was purchased by the World Bank after Birashaka, of which, according to what I heard, it's like that land was supposed to be used to do the cleaning or the drainage of Kasarani. They did not take drainage direct to the lake. So there must have a reserved land that was there reserved for the purpose of taking all that sewer so that it can be recycled.
This is Kasarani Estate, surrounded by 11 flower farms that the locals here feel disenfranchised by their CSR input on environmental matters, despite their large workforce residing here.
When it comes to matter with community social responsibility, sometimes it becomes very tricky because to unclog those drainage and culverts, that is a major work that is thoroughly needed to be done here. So I will urge all the stakeholders, all the flower farms. I seek we have to convene a meeting so that we manage these Kasarani.
For weeks now, they have been dislodging the estate drainage systems to avert infectious diseases and improve ecological habitation to densely populated and low-income estate.
Wakati mvua ilikuwa inanyesha, maji yalikuwa yanasanyika mahali moja, pia ingine yaliteremka pale baharini. Tulikuwa tunashuhudia labda magonjwa angepata watoto wetu.
Wakati mvua ilikuwa inanyesha, ile mamtaro ilikuwa imefunga sana. So maji zote zilikuwa zinapita tu hapa mbele. Watoto wetu hapa wanachezea zile maji.
Adverse effects to this siltation poses hazard to flora and fauna, as this is a lakeshore estate which unmanaged storm water largely spill west to the lake.
Wakati mvua inanyesha, maji yalikuwa yanateremka baharini ambayo ni machafu. Na ilikuwa maji ambayo tunatumia sisi kama wakazi wa Kasarani. Kwa hivi sasa hiyo maji yatakuwa safi na tunashuhudia tutapata magonjwa. Wale watu ambao wanatumia maji saizi tutakuwa vizuri na tutapata magonjwa yoyote ile.
When we take this drainage to Lake Naivasha, we pollute the water. So and we rely with those fish that are in the water. So we are causing water pollution within the water. So if by God's or by good luck we do have a place where we can clean this water, it could be of more help.
It could have been a reprieve since the construction of a modern drainage system over a decade ago to locals here. Maintenance and conduct for those utilizing the World Bank funded project remains a challenge.
Ningeomba hata akiweza kututengea vijana kadhaa ambao watakuwa under maintenance kama ni drainage yetu, wawe wanasimamia ili kuensure kwamba wakaaji wetu wanapata hewa safi na pia mazingira yetu yawe ya kufana.
Sometimes they are negligent, they do pour their waste products to the drainages. Yeah? So you find when the flowing water comes, it carries away the soil and it stays for a long time. Then there is the water stagnated there. So and then there is the other solid waste from the people. You find maybe we have a lot of households here, and maybe people sometimes they don't care. You find someone pouring some waste products within the drainages. So that mixture, and it took a lot of time before you remove them. Now it becomes very dangerous to the people.
Kasarani Estate is just one of two estates within Naivasha sub-county that is adjacent to Lake Naivasha and its shores, with a myriad of activities happening around the two estates and the overflow of flash floods to the lake. It brings with it hazardous effects to the lake and that exists inside the waters. With such efforts that are taking place around this estate, it is going to bring an effort that will bring forth sustainability to the two coexistence between man and wildlife. Reporting for TV 47 from Kasarani Estate, Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Now, climate change, which has led to rising temperatures across Africa, is contributing to the increase in sea levels in the Indian Ocean. On the other hand, the heat is also disrupting marine breeding zones, affecting fish and other sea creatures. Speaking during an intergovernmental panel on climate change IPCC conference in the coastal city of Mombasa, the vice chair of the working group 2, Cromwell Lucorito, said that the main goal for the panel is to prepare a report that will help address human activities driving climate change. Meanwhile, Environment and Climate Change Secretary Festus Ngeno urged climate scientists to focus on the challenges caused by rising sea levels, floods and increasing ocean heat, which continue to threaten marine life, human populations and coastal heritage.
Ni maeneo makao ambamo samaki huishi iko hatarini kwa sababu joto linapanda, pia hali ya asidi naye pia inapanda, na hiyo nayo inaendelea kukula hizo corals. Sinakulika, na heri mazingira ya kuweka mayai ya samaki na kuzalisha naye pia iko hatarini.
So in terms of policy, we have got the Climate Change Acts, we have got our revised MCA, which we are of course working on the various regulations. We have around 15 regulations that we are rolling, which of course the county government also as the implementing. You know, most of the environmental programs are devolved. And therefore, for us as national, we just provide policy. For the implementation, it is delivered by the county governments. And therefore, Mombasa then works on those programs.
So there is that call from governments for targeted policy-relevant information that can help governments at capitals or at local governments as well to understand what works in terms of adaptation, what works in terms of understanding the risks, what works in terms of mitigation, and critically, what works in terms of development as well, so that cities can become more resilient, can become more sustainable in a 1.5 degree C world. So that is the call that governments has asked the scientific community and the practitioner community to try and respond and give this important information in this critical decade of climate action.
Now, in Losogwa village of Laikipia County, a group of women is transforming an environmental threat into an opportunity by turning an invasive aquatic plant into biochar. They've embraced chemical-free tomato farming, which is restoring both their livelihoods and local ecosystem. The story is one of resilience, innovation, and climate action at the grassroots level. Let's take a look.
In the village of Losogwa, just outside Nyahururu town, a silent transformation is underway. A group of determined women, once maize and beans farmers, are now cultivating tomatoes. But it's not the switch to tomatoes that's making headlines. It is how they grow them. Using biochar, a charcoal-like substance made from an unlikely source Salvinia molester, a fast-growing invasive plant found in the nearby water bodies.
Lakini huwa sana tunatumia organic, ndio inatufurahisha. Biochar tumeonyeshwa hali ya kuitengeneza. Hii nyanya tulianza na biochar, top dressing top dress na biochar, na tumeona matokeo bora. Kwetu nyumbani tumewekelea hata madharo, na hii madharo tumelima na biochar. Hali ya wenye walikuwa nasema madharo iko na gas, hakuna gasi sasa. Ndio sasa hii ukulima tumechukua. Pande hii ya Laikipia hata watu wengi wanatamani ukulima yenye tunafanya.
Hiyo majani iko na umuhimu wake. Tunaweza tengeneza fertilizer naye na tupande naye ikiwa kama biochar. Sasa ndio tukaanza kutoa hiyo majani, tunakausha, tunaanika, tunakausha, alafu tukashoma, ikawa sasa ni kama fertilizer. Hiyo fertilizer tukafundishwa kujaganya na manyua. Wakati tunajaganya kiwango vile tulifundishwa, kama ni bucket moja, tunajaganya na 1 kasuku ya biochar, tunapanda naye. Tukafanya demo ya kupanda madharu kwanza, tukaona imetokea vizuri.
This once toxic weed choked life out of the village dam. Fish disappeared, birds vanished. But today, the very plant that once suffocated the ecosystem is now reviving it. Thanks to training from Cha to Cool and Cranes conservation volunteers, the Iregi Women's Group now collects Salvinia molester, dries it, and converts it into biochar. Mixed with manure, it becomes a powerful soil enhancer. No chemicals, no synthetic fertilizers, just natural, sustainable farming. Beatrice Oangeshi Irungu, one of the farmers, says that the dam next to their farm made it easy. No transport, no struggle, just opportunity floating on water.
Sasa hiyo ndege huwa tunachunga, hata hatutaki mtu awe akicheza na hiyo mohau. Wakatuonyesha uzuri ya hiyo majani iko kwa maji. Hiyo majani ndio wakatuonyesha tunaweza toa kwa maji, tukaushe. Baada ya kukausha tunachoma. Tukiichoma inatoka ni manyua. Hiyo manyua sasa ndio tunaita biochar. Hiyo biochar ndio tumepanda nayo hii nyanya, na tumeona uzuri yake. Hata kwetu nyumbani tumepanda mpaka madharo, na hiyo madhara ukipanda na biochar haina acid.
Tunajifunia kwa sababu watu wengi mpaka wanauliza tulifanya nini, kwa sababu hatukulima na dawa, tulilima na organic. Sasa tunashukuru hata walimu walituelimisha.
As they remove the invasive plant, aquatic life is slowly returning. Birds are back and the dam breathes again. David Warui, a conservation expert, explains that biochar not only boosts crop yield but also improves soil health. It stores carbon for years, making it a powerful weapon against climate change.
There is no chemicals that we are using. So it's only we are mixing the biochar with manure. And also when we are spraying the tomatoes because of the pesticides. The pesticide that because of the pesticide that we are using, we call it the wood vinegar. And this wood vinegar is what we are getting from the smoke. That instead of that smoke going to the atmosphere, then we are able to condense that smoke, and we produce what we call the wood vinegar. So this wood vinegar is what we are spraying in the tomatoes to prevent the spread of the pest.
It holds moisture, it removes odors, it nurtures the soil and the future. Now, the women of Losogwa ain't just feeding their families, they are restoring a fragile ecosystem. They are protecting endangered birds, and they are proving that real change can grow from the ground up. In turning a challenge into a solution, the women of Losogwa show that sustainable farming isn't just possible, it's powerful. A small step for a village, a big stride for climate action. Susan Locho, TV 47.
Now, here's something we all need to learn. Now, as the Kenyan government races towards its goal of planting 15 billion trees by 2032, individuals across the country are playing their part in making this ambitious dream a reality. In Kericho County, one man has transformed his backyard into a flourishing tree nursery, nurturing not just seedlings, but a grassroots environmental movement that is inspiring his entire community.
The government of Kenya is hoping to achieve 15 billion trees by the end of 2032. This seems to be a dream to many, but for Ronald Keter, who is an environmental conservationist in Chelilis, Bureti constituency, Kericho County, this is more of reality. This week on Green Warriors, Ronald Keter tells us about the passion of tree growing, conservation, and a journey in creating the greener future. Thank you so much for joining us here at TV 47. You just introduce yourself, tell us about what you do and generally the conservation journey.
Okay, my name is Ronald Keter. I'm one of the founders of Transform Green World, which is an environmental organization. Started way back in 2017 with the objective of conserving forest, wetlands and riverlines. So by doing that, we have been able to establish a nursery which is currently hosting average of not less than 500,000 seedlings. And in the composition of those trees, we have indigenous, we also have agroforestry trees and also the exotic seedlings. At the same time, we also have bamboo, which is known to be very good in conservation. We have close to 9 species of bamboo that most of them are good in conservation, and also they are also good in making furniture and also structures.
How does the community benefit from your hard work in conserving the environment, and so far what have you done to the community?
So for us, we have been able to conserve a number of springs, wetlands, and riverlines within our community. And currently, we have seen actually they are doing well. In rivers that we had, we were seeing the volumes of water was moving down. Currently, the volume of water is increasing. That means that there is a positive trend. At the same time, if you can see our nursery, we also have fruit trees. So at times we could partner. We have been partnering with other organizations to ensure that we give them fruit trees, so that not only help them to improve the nutrition, but at the same time also to also build their economic livelihoods.
Hii tunaita vetiver grass. Vetiver grass ni muhimu sana 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 katika conservation ya maji. Ni muhimu kwa nini? Inatoa ile toxins ambayo huenda iko kwa takataka inayoingia mtoni. Na in the end maji itakuwa safi kweli kweli na mzuri kwa afya. Pia ng'ombe anaweza kula hii, kwa hivyo ni chakula ya ng'ombe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, as you have seen, several tree species and various kind of seedlings are rather here. Not only to be used to conserve the environment, but as well others act as food, others are used actually for furniture. And we have seen the bamboo here, the 9 species of bamboo, with a different use away from environmental conservation.
The main challenge that we have currently is that we have serious encroachment. We have individuals that lives along the riverlines, and most of these people, they interfere with the nature of that river, of the rivers. What they do is that a number of them are planted eucalyptus, and of course we know the effects of eucalyptus, which takes water. And currently we have witnessed that a number of big rivers that used to be carrying a big volume of water, currently they are almost have been turned to seasonal rivers. Yeah, and also at the same time we have seen people disposing waste to the rivers. Eventually it will affect the environment, and that is why we have you have heard of witness of diseases that comes out of this pollution.
Now, in government ambition in planting 15 billion trees by the year 2032, how is the progress as environmental conservationist?
Yeah, I'm seeing a good progress currently because of the intervention that is coming in. One of them is we have programs of FLOCA, and we also have other interventions that the government and the county government are doing to ensure that we rehabilitate and also restore these riverlines, and also at the same time empower communities so that they themselves sustainably restore these riverlines. You have seen this nursery. One of the challenges that it's not that easy to raise such seedlings. Of course, you know, it requires financial muscle, and at the same time also we have encountered dry seasons and you need to water these trees. Yeah, so a number of challenges. And then at the same time, where we have grown trees, some other people are not willing to support. So they, at times, when we have planted trees, they come and interfere. We also have projects that we have done in schools. We have been greening schools. Since then, I think 2018, we have been able to reach out close to 150 schools, trying to revive and also establish the 4K clubs, and also trying to impart the knowledge of conservation and even the knowledge of climate issues, climate change.
Perhaps maybe you can tell us more about this.
Yes, as we had said that tuko na species tofauti, moja wao ni hii inaitwa Prunus africana, kwa Kikale wanaita tendwes, na iko na muhimu ama iko na manufaa mingi sana. One of them is huwa tunapanda kwa misitu because inasaidia kuconserve misitu yetu ama our environment.
From a simple seedbed to green revolution, Ronald's journey shows environmental change begins from a grassroots level. Keep Plakat Collins for TV47 Kericho.
And that's that, folks. That's all we had for you tonight on Green Fix. Thank you so much for keeping it right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. We hope you have been entertained, you have been informed, and above all, you have been inspired. My name is Victor Muyakane. Earlier on sign language, we had Roda Nyamai. And for the team that made this a reality, we want to say thank you for choosing us to inform you. Good night, and God bless you.